Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of FSI's NASCAR DFS Pick Show. I'm your host, TK Nation 47, joined with Mega Rule 31. We are breaking down the, let me get the title here. I'm a little slow tonight. The title of the race is the AutoTrader EchoPark Automotive 500, 334 laps at Texas Motor Speedway. Mega, it was a winning Xfinity slate for us today. John Hunter Nemechek wins the race on a bold strategy to pit with only do 2 tires on his pit stop. So it kind of fell into our laps for us that had Nemechek in the double ups and stuff. So
yeah, we
how was your cover. There we go. Cover win. We're rolling hot. So let's keep it going here for the Cup Series. Are you excited for Texas and ready for tomorrow's slate?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great, we got some great momentum coming off of the Xfinity race. Shout out to Tim Jenkins and Chris Palmer watching our video and took our advice and did really, really good. Tim almost took down a GPP, came very, very close. So
awesome.
Shout out to you guys. So appreciate that you guys watching, and glad we could help you guys out. TK and I did good. We actually ended up on the same cash lineup without even discussing it. Would have been great if David Starr engine didn't break. We should have won Ryan Vargas, but you know what? We did good. I more than doubled my money, so I'm happy. Looking forward to this one. And the thing we did was we went top heavy. We took 2 guys that were pretty far down, and we pretty much took 4 guys, and the pricing was good for Xfinity. There was like Kaz Growler, who was like way too expensive. We said GPP only, and we said don't take AJ Allmendinger on the pole because he was like way too expensive and wouldn't pay it off. And we had the winner. We actually had the top 5. Like we had 4 out of the top 5, and then our one punt play finished like 15th, and then the other guy, his engine blew. So, but still, that didn't hurt us because we picked a guy that was safe, that was down in the 30s. He still has 9 points. So it was a really good construction, and it worked out really well. So today, as I look at it for the Cup race, it's the same. It's going to be a top heavy race, but I don't see anything at the bottom. We were talking pre-show here. I don't know if I can play anybody below 31st. So this video is going to be shorter than normal because we can tell you right now, don't play anybody 32nd through 39th. Maybe Timmy Hill, just because the DK scoring system is a 40-point system. Or a 40 car system. Like they don't change it every time that a car drops out of the race because it fluctuates how many cars are entered and start. So the 39th place drivers already advanced 1 position. So you're guaranteed like at least like 1 point there, and like maybe 2 points for like the finishing position. So they're at least going to get you a 3. They're not going to get you a negative. And for a cheap price, sometimes that's a decent play. But other than that, like I don't know if I'm going below the 7K range, which is completely different than what my strategy was. But the other nice thing is these drivers are priced really comfortably in like the 9K range, and you don't have like a ton of them up in the 10K range. Is the highest one is Harvick with 10.9, which is place differential, and we'll get to him when we get to him, and Larson is second on the pole at 10.5. So other than that, the most of the rest of the top 10 is all around the 9K range.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of opposite, I feel, of what we did in Xfinity. Where I think we're going to have to try to get a little bit more balance, take a couple shots at dominators instead of trying to get as many of the 9K, 10K plays as possible. So, a little bit of different construction. I totally agree with you about the 31st on back. We're not really looking at those punts. We have playoff qualifying. So pretty much based on how the playoff points are going and how people are finishing races is how the race starts. So NASCAR did us no favors with the pricing. I feel like this is pretty tough slate on the pricing standpoint. So I'm actually excited for this race because of that. I think it really hurts the neutral DFS gamer when it comes to a tough pricing. I think that's more likely for them to make mistakes. And for us that, spend time studying, the pricing, studying, the statistics, the previous track history, how well people do in packages, us that pay attention to more detail, the listeners, you guys that are paying attention to us, paying attention to more detail. We benefit from, tough pricing, and that's what we have here tomorrow. And we're ready to break this down. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Kyle Larson on the poll, as Mega alluded to, 10-5, not expensive, not too expensive. I think he's reasonably priced for him starting on the pole, for his track, history, for the things he can do well. And what he can do well is get into clean air, get into the high groove. I think that what we learned today about the sticky stuff on the outside in turn one is that, the high line can get good, be right on the restarts. And I think that only benefits Kyle Larson. I think he can lead a good portion of this race today. Even if he doesn't win it, I could see him in the optimal. I don't think he's going to finish outside the top 5. I'm in on Kyle Larson. I think he's the cash play.
And I agree. And we said that we didn't think that AJ Allmendinger would get off the line. We thought that Cindric could get ahead of him and lead the race early, and that's exactly what happened. But this isn't even fair. You take probably the best driver in NASCAR. You take the guy that's probably been the best at 1.5 mile tracks. You take the guy that's been best, and we're in the low horsepower, high downforce package, which is the opposite package that they run on a lot of the tracks. And there's guys that are really good at this and guys that are really bad at it. Most of them are better at the other opposite package, but he's been decent at this. So he's got all these positive variables for him, and you give him clean air on the pole. It just isn't really fair. You should have made him start at least 20th and just work a little bit. But he could definitely get out there. We saw in clean air, even with 2 tires on the restart, how far John Hunter Nemechek could get out there in front of the pack. So definitely think he's definitely going to dominate this race. Could one of these guys get around him eventually? It's possible. He's human. But I think, this is definitely his race to go out and dominate. We didn't talk playoffs, but the first 8 drivers are all in the playoffs. If you look at the color coding there, if you're new to the video, I have Larson as a green number 1. I don't think really, even if he has 3 bad races, that he has enough points accumulated that he could potentially not make the next round. I think he's going to get on points. So I don't think he has anything really to worry about. The guys in yellow are pretty much bunched together for, 4 guys advance to Phoenix for the final. So there's 3 races to do so. There's no real crazy races here. We have Texas, I forget what the one in between, and then Kansas and Martinsville. So they're all reasonable tracks. There could be trouble and stuff, but it's not like a Talladega. It's not like a road course or anything that's going to be really need special skills or anything. So these are good race tracks. It's going to be a good fight here. The guys in the yellow are so close together, but Logano and Keselowski have a lot of work to do. So they need to do some things to their best chance probably is to win, to try to close the point gap. Again, anything can happen within 3 races, but and I don't think, TK, do you think with the Xfinity that really the playoffs played much into factor today? I mean, they were talking about Hemrick trying to win the race because he was right on the cut line. If he won the race, he automatically would be in. Now he's kind of on the bubble, but he had such a good race that he kind of advanced his race. So for me, I say mission accomplished. He, got closer to the line. And if he builds on this momentum for the next 2, then he should easily on points be able to qualify, especially because you had a non-playoff winner win today. So that means that at best you have 2 automatic qualifiers.
Yeah, I think it's all about points. I think stage points are going to be key here. I think that's what's really going to motivate the drivers here, especially if someone like Kyle Larson leads the field for half this race. I think guys are going to just try to fall in line and get as many points in positions on the end of stages as they can. And then, hey, if they're in position at the end of the race to win it, then try and win it. But more or less, I think they're trying to get into that top 10 for playoff points as the race goes on. I think that was kind of the emphasis we saw on Xfinity today with the guys that are on the bubble. They didn't really push all their chips into the basket here in the first race. I think they kind of thought to themselves, all right, we need points no matter what, no ifs, ands, or buts. So we're going to race hard to the end of the stages to get these points. at the end of the stages, and whatever happens at the end of the race is what happens at the end of the race. So I think that's what we'll see with the Cup as well. Guys jockeying for positions early in the race to try to get those stage points. And I think that ultimately leads to fast laps at the top and laps led at the top, and your high point scorers coming from the top because they're pushing everything they have into getting as many stage points as they possibly can. I agree with you on Larson. What are your thoughts as we drop down into the rest of this field about is there anyone at the top, thinking in mind that could take the lead from Larson? Is there anyone? Let's just start with Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch at 99, 98, kind of the same play. Joe Gibbs. Do these two warrant any kind of dominator upside?
Denny Hamlin is a completely different racer than he was like probably 10 races ago before the playoffs started. So
it's crazy, right?
Yeah,
it's totally crazy. Like the script has flipped on Denny. Like he was, I don't know, maybe going through the motions, but something's clicked.
It's like playoff LeBron almost.
Yeah.
Like the regular season doesn't matter, just make it to the playoffs and then turn it on. So I think he definitely has potential. Kyle Busch does too. He's good in this package, and he's in the Skittles car, which is like it isn't undefeated anymore. It did like lose a race, but I don't believe in like paint schemes or like cars or stuff. Like maybe good mojo or something, but I think they have potential here. I really like what Gibbs has done, but I think they're GPP plays. I think, Larson is the one. Either one of those two would have to get up and dominate the race starting in second and third to be able to get enough points to be, worthwhile. And we saw that with Hemrick. He started third.
Yep.
And luckily he finished second and he led some of the race, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah. For me, I would go with Kyle Busch. Average finish of 6th. In 6 races, he has 2 wins, 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s. He is great in this package. I am a believer in the Skittles theory. The Skittles car is dominant. Yes, Mega, believe it. 301 laps led. I love the face and palm approach. We are only 5-10 minutes in, and we already have Mega shaking his head at TK. It's perfect. Denny Hamlin average finish of 20th, but he does have a win here. He does not have many laps led, I noticed. And I think that could really build into a GBP to fade on Denny, and then more or less just transition that theory of he might not dominate the race, but Kyle Busch has the ability to. So I could see myself going Kyle Larson in cash and Kyle Busch in GBP, and stop me if you've heard that before.
Yep, I agree.
Yes.
Although I think I would take Hamlin over Kyle Busch.
Okay, that's fair. I can't argue too much about it because of the hot streak that Denny's on. 4th is no man's land, but I think that's right where I want to be as like a second man in my GPPs, and that's Ryan Blaney. This guy, he's an average an average finish of 10th with 3 top 5s, 255 laps led. I like him on these long oval tracks, places like Michigan, Speedway, Blaney, as they're calling him now. I think he does really well in this package as well. We talked pre-show about that. So Blaney going to be in my GPPs, and I think he's a solid bet too. 9-1. He is the ultimate sniper at the end of races. I like Blaney in this race.
I like him too. He's been good in this package. He's better at high tire wear tracks. I don't think the wear is like super aggressive here. But he just is kind of like Denny Hamlin light here. Like he's really done well. Like recently, his recent form is good. He's kind of hanging around there. He might be a dark horse to be in the top 4. He could win the title out of nowhere. So yeah, I like the play.
I think he's only going to make himself put himself in a better position to be there come championship 4 time. I'm really sold on Blaney. I'm desperately wanting him to be good so he can be my favorite driver too, because there's the Ohio connection. Anyway, next up we have Joey Logano, 7th in points in the playoff, 9,100. He is second cheapest in the top 8.
There's a
Your
reason for that.
thoughts on Logano?
There's
Yeah.
He's horrible in this package. He is good in the high horsepower, low downforce. This is the opposite package. He's struggled. I think he's going to finish in the top 15, but I don't know if he'll finish in the top 10. So I'm out on Logano.
Same. I am on to that theory Mega has given us about Logano and Keselowski and Blaney. He's been spot on with this and Penske about which drivers to play and which packages for Penske. And I'm going to totally continue that with you. Next up, we have Chase Elliott, 10-1. Yeah, I just don't know. And I've struggled with this all year, what to do with Chase Elliott. I just don't know. Is he going to show up? Is he not going to show up? I just never know.
It's the Harvick thing over.
Man.
That lost me thousands last week.
Harvick. Oh boy. Oh boy. I didn't want to say it, but yeah, there was a lot of anger.
There was collateral damage in there. So, and I had Elliott in my lineups, and yeah, thanks, Kevin. But
Kevin Harvick, I think ruined your day.
I have him as cash because these 100 cars have been decent here. He would really have to go up and pretty much share like sometime, kind of like Nemechek and Hemrick did today, for him to pay off. But he's cash borderline GPP. I think he's going to be highly owned. I think people realize that he's got a lot of work to do in order to try to make it to the next round of 4. Was a champion last year. He had a really pedestrian season this year, lots of issues, almost like a sophomore slump kind of. Yeah. I mean, he's been in a couple years, so not a sophomore year, but just like championship hangover kind of. So
the hangover of the championship. Yep.
So
and he's only got a average finish of 15th with 1 top 10 here at Texas.
Yeah.
I don't think of Chase Elliott when I think of long oval intermediate tracks. I think of him. I think of him on my road courses and even super speedways. Yeah. So I kind of want to fade Chase Elliott, or at least just go low exposure in my MME format. So that's kind of where I'm at with Chase, because he's left me so numb to playing him this year unless it's a road course. So whatever. Moving on, we have Brad Keselowski in the Penske car, 8,500. This could be a sneaky GPP play, but he has no experience at Texas. Yeah. Well, experience, no results.
Yeah. He's great in this package. Like, he would be a fade if it wasn't for the package and the pricing here. Again, GPP could be very risky. It seems like Penske stripped all the resources away from him. I think they were kind of hoping that maybe he finished below the bubble, and now they're like, oh, man, because they could pull like all their best like people off the team and give them to like Logano and Blaney for their push to try to. But it's exciting to still have 3 teams in the top 8. But I think the long game would have been better if he wasn't there to really invest everything in the 2 that were left versus trying to spread it out between 3 cars. So it's good in this package. Mixed, results at this track. Again, not playing him in cash, but I think, in a GPP line, you can, whether you go, pair him with Blaney there.
Yeah.
Maybe they can work together. We have seen them wreck each other though, too. So.
I think it's GPP only because of the price tag and package, but yeah, he's got an average finish of, let me keep scrolling, 22nd with only 2 top 10s and 3 top 20s. So he's a meh play for me. Next up, we have Martin Truex Jr. 10-3 is quite expensive, but you have some upside here for place differential, even in the top 10. Truex always a threat to do well on intermediate tracks. He is an intermediate track specialist. He does well at places like Charlotte. This is kind of comparable. So I could see myself playing a little bit of Truex at lower ownership, but you have him as high ownership, really? I thought he'd be low with that price tag.
Let me see here. Okay. My daughter's in bed, so hopefully she doesn't watch this, but Truex is almost a fade here. Okay, he's horrible in this package. He's way too high priced. You're paying a little bit for place differential. That's why I think the people are going to look at the high ownership, because he's in the playoffs and he has had a good run in the playoffs, but he is not good in this package. I don't think I'm going to have any shares of Truex tomorrow.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I hope your daughter does not watch, or at least just turns it off after 10 minutes. But yeah, that's going to create some family ruffles. As we know, she loves her Truex Jr. Yeah, I'm not seeing much here on the track history. An average finish of 15th with only one top 5 and 78 laps led. So it does look like he struggles at this track. I'm kind of surprised at that with how well he does at places like Charlotte. So interesting to see. 10-3. It's kind of like the same thing with Elliott. Like, I don't want to pay that much price for a guy that I don't think can win. So I totally get where you're coming from. Next up, we have Tyler Reddick starting 9th, 7,700. This isn't even the lowest price player driver in the top 10, but we get him at a discount at 7,700. I like Highline track grooves for Tyler Reddick. We got a Highline track groove for Tyler Reddick here. I love the price tag. I'm in. Count me in.
This is a hard one. Like, I haven't listed his cash. I think he's going to have low ownership because I think people are going to look at him and think he's starting way too far forward. But I think the price kind of negates that. And he has a second here. He could have won the race if he had a little bit better pit strategy. He's everybody in front of him has to worry about playoff strategy. He's there just to win the race.
Yep.
So a bit risky, but I think he's cash viable. I'm not saying he's a priority or lock him in your cash lineups. I mean, he might be some guy that you end up on in cash. So that's where I'm at.
I really love Tyler Reddick tomorrow for GBPs for sure. Next up, we have Chris Buescher, 6,500. I mean, the price tag's nice. You know, he's got some decent track history, you know, with an average finish of where I just had him on my list here. Oh my gosh. Am I blind? Okay, 21st with 4 top 20s. I guess that's not really nice for a starting spot of 10th, but 6,500. I mean, we'll talk about it. And I don't know if we want to introduce like this struggle for value plays, but 6,500. I mean, if Buescher can finish where he starts, I will take that. But man, I don't know. I'm torn. What are your thoughts?
No, because I'm looking down and I see somebody starting in just above the top 20 and at 64, at 62, at 6K. I think he's too far forward here. At top 15, maybe he loses 5 points, but if I don't know. In my build, I didn't need to. I ended up in the 7,000s with locking in the 4 I wanted, and then taking the last 2. I had like about 7,000 and then some more per driver, so I didn't need to dip down this far. So I don't, if I had, there was really nobody that I'd want to go up to in cash that I need him for, and in GPP I was fine going a little bit lower on some more risky ones because it's a GPP anyway. So right. Yeah, I think he's a GPP play if you need somebody in that range, but I think there's some better ones that will come to.
Yeah, that's man, that's just a tough call to go on here with Chris Buescher. Next up, we have Christopher Bell, 8,300. I don't really have much on Bell. He's not really on my radar here.
Yeah, he's out of the playoffs now, so
he does have a top 5 here, but that's all I have.
Yeah, not much upside, and I think again, this is one of the things where Gibbs has 3 guys in the playoffs here, so I think some of the resources from him might go to the guys that are still in it, and you know, he'll just kind of try to finish out the year strong. Would it surprise me if he won the race? No, but I'm not going to play him in cash.
Yeah, man, I struggled with Bell and Buescher here. I'm just going to move on. William Byron starting 12. 9,600 is not a price tag I want to pay, but you seem really high on him. So I'm going to let you go ahead and have the floor.
Yeah, I absolutely love him. He has been very fast on 1.5 mile tracks. He's good in this package. I think, having Larson and Elliott as a teammate, he's really like learned things from like the team and the setup, and isn't who's in charge? Is he still in charge of all the setups? Who is Jim Johnson's old crew chief? Didn't he take over?
Chad Knaus.
Yeah.
Knaus he's actually like chief operating officer of Hendricks now.
Yeah, and I think he's got a really good crew chief here that gives Byron really good cars, and Byron can race for the win here. The pressure's off. He's out of the playoffs. And I think he still is one that really wants to go out there and prove something. So I am very, very much like William Byron.
Yeah, and I found a way to write William Byron in my favorite builds just now. So that spells disaster or it spells takedown. We'll see. I'm gonna follow you into the abyss here with William Byron.
This is the same situation as John Hunter Nemechek. He started like 10th and wasn't in the playoffs, and of course there was no Kyle Larson in the field, but you could say in Xfinity that Cindric is almost the same equivalent as Larson
in ways, with the way that they can dominate a race. It wasn't there for Cindric today, but it certainly was for Hemrick. Good thing we were on both in our lineup because of the roster construction led us to that point. Maybe stretching to William Byron can pay dividends if he is someone that finishes inside that top 4 with some laps led. So like I said, I'm going to follow you on this one, and I hope William Byron has a great day tomorrow. Next up, we have Matt DiBenedetto, 7,400. Matty D is, out a ride next year. He's racing for his pride, and I love guys with that kind of mentality late in the year. And I know the Wood brothers are going to give him every chance possible to win a race. So I'm going to play Matt DiBenedetto in GPPs because of simply heart. That's weird to say, but it's true.
Yeah, and I like him too. And it came down to like my last guy in between like DiBenedetto and Reddick, and I think it's going to be a tough choice between the two of them, which one to take. You get a little bit more place differential with Matt DiBenedetto, but Reddick, is
track fit,
right? So and it just, the other thing here is like, fast forward a little bit, we have Bowman, which we'll go back to, but Austin Dillon is like right below there at 75, and he and Reddick and DiBenedetto are all in the same price range. I absolutely love Austin Dillon. He's been good at this package. He's been good at this type of track. And remember, as we said, like maybe about 2 months ago, that Hendrick and Richard Childress Racing formed a tech partnership, and they've really worked together with notes and stuff, and they found some extra speed for these cars. So, I mean, that helps. It makes it even a tougher argument for me too, between, that makes me like Reddick a little bit more now. So I don't know. It's going to be a tough call with like last man in, but I think Dillon is a priority in cash. I think if you're looking, you need some guys in the 7K range. And I think out of all the 7K guys, that he would be my second favorite.
Yeah. I like where you transitioned that, because I feel like I can't talk about Matty D without talking about Dillon, because I'm with you. I really like Austin Dillon heading into tomorrow. He's got an average finish of 12th. He has a race win here at Texas, 2 top 10s and 5 top 20s. So he is always going to finish right around that 15th place, so 7,500, not too expensive. Dillon probably 1, Reddick 2, DiBenedetto 3 in that 7K range if I had to rank them. And there you have it. I'm just going to leave it at that. Next up, we have
2, 3, and 4, because there's a guy that's 7,200. That's definitely number 1, but we'll get to
that. Maybe he's not number 1 for me, but you're right. He's in the top 3 there. I gotta.
We'll debate that in a few minutes. Stay tuned.
not someone I'm jumping to buy in on. Anyway, Alex Bowman, any thoughts? 9,300 is quite expensive.
I think he's cash viable. I think he's got some of the same upside as Byron, but I'm not as sold on him.
Right. Average finish of 16th, 2 top 5s, however, 4 top 20s. Maybe there's, I mean, Bowman does well at places like Chicago.
His current form is the issue.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he does well on tracks that have that high line with the sticky stuff. Chicago lane, he won there. He's got other race wins earlier this year. He had a lot of good things going for him, but he really, like you said, struggled lately. So maybe that is the reason why I stay in my GPP lane there with low ownership on him overall. Michael McDowell, I don't think this is a course or a track fit. I'm out.
But the package, he's been a top 20 driver. But I still do think he's starting a little bit too far forward. That's why I'm listed as GPP and not as a fade, because I think if you can hang on to the top 20, top 25 at 5,800, if you need it, if you're playing a lot of guys up top, then that might be able to get you to squeeze a third playoff driver in.
He does have an average finish of 20th with 3 top 20s. So maybe there's something there for Michael McDowell tomorrow that nobody else can see. Next up, we have a guy I played him last week. I'm playing him again this week. I can't believe it, but I am playing Kurt Busch again.
Yeah, I don't think he's a priority in cash.
He's definitely in my radar for GPPs.
I mean, he's been okay on ovals. He's got a lot of experience. And again, this is his like swan song for Chip Ganassi. He's moving over to Bubba Wallace's team next year, right?
Yeah.
So
racing the
Monster, yeah.
I can't remember what number.
I think they the one and everything, yeah.
Oh, they bought the one?
I think so.
Okay, so just Denny and Michael's taking over his team.
Yeah, because
he's got an average finish of 7th with 6 top 10s at this track. Yeah. I can't deny that, no matter what the package is. He's just a driver, and he's got 6 top 10s and 6 races here. I can't ignore it. Place differential there too.
Yeah, Trackhouse is taking over Chip Ganassi, right? But they're only going to have 2 cars, so
true.
They're going to probably keep the 42 and let the one go.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, I see where you're going. Yeah, I wish he was a little cheaper, but I'm certainly not going to shy away from Kurt Busch after seeing the track history. Bubba Wallace and Daniel Suarez. Where we go, 6,400 and
Cole Custer, Eric Jones.
Cole Custer, Eric Jones. This little pocket. Yeah, this pocket here between 18 and 21, kind of the same.
Bubba's clearly been the best in this package in this style. That's why I have him listed as cash. I think he'll be pretty popular. Daniel Suarez, because of Tim, TK here has a cult following. So you alone have driven up the ownership on Daniel Suarez to the point where I have to list him as high now. Just like some other people in DFS communities have driven up the ownership on Corey LaJoie. So I always have to list him as medium as high because he's a cult favorite for some others.
I'm playing both this weekend too. Let's go. I'm in on Suarez over Wallace, over Custer, over Jones. How could you figure?
Yeah, but Suarez just like his form hasn't been great.
No, it's
Custer, he's the cheapest, but he just hasn't had the speed, and Jones doesn't have the equipment. So I like Bubba. You like Daniel Suarez. It's pretty much all the same play here.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. I think you could get away with playing both Bubba and Suarez. Definitely the 1-2, whether you preference one or the other, but definitely them two over Custer and Jones in this spot. With the same price tags and everything around them. Definitely play either Bubba or Suarez over Buescher, as well.
What kind of build are you building to like?
I have a solo dominator to maybe potentially 3 dominators. It all depends. Like I have
okay, because like in all my builds, I did not need any 6K guys, and unless you're like trying to play like, unless you're playing like Harvick, Truex, and Elliott in the same line.
Well, actually, now that I'm re-looking at it, I could drop one of my 7K drivers to the 6K range, and then bump up one of my 9K drivers to either someone like Elliott or Truex or Denny or Kyle.
Must be Halloween season because TK is getting scary.
Well, it's because I'm playing a certain value play we're going to talk about later that you had already mentioned literally like 40 seconds ago. But
Timmy Hill.
Corey LaJoy. Anyway, all right, we're moving on. We have Eric Almirola 8100 here.
No.
As we spiral out of control with this video. He has history here, but you had mentioned pre-show about the package not lining up. But 6 races, he's got average finish of 13th with 4 top 10s.
I'm okay with that, but the car just hasn't, like, these Stewart cars haven't been fast. Remember, I've been saying all year that I think they're putting the money into this program for next year.
Yeah.
So he's more of a super speedway guy. So I way too high price. I don't know where'd the 8100 come from. He should be like priced within all these guys. He should be like, I give him like 6800, maybe 7200 based on like the name of the team.
You know, no worse finish in the last, let's see this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In 10 races, no finish worse than 24th for Eric Almirola. With a win and only 2 top 15s. So he's 16th. He's 16th to 19th in 7 out of 10 races. All right, so Eric Almirola bet 16th to 20th position. Lock it in. All right, so how many points does that equate to, though? You know, what are we looking at here? But I don't think that pays it off, that price tag. But
okay, 16. If he finishes 16, he gets 27 DK points.
Yeah, there's no fast laps in that involved either.
And if he would gain 6 points, so
yeah.
So 26, he'd have 33 DK points.
Yeah, 8100. That's you could do better with less, right?
I think so.
There you go. Broke down nice and simple for you. Ryan Preece 6K 23rd.
Tempting.
Let's check the history here.
Starting not too far forward, but the pricing is good.
No top 20s in the last 4 races.
But overall, in the 1.5 ovals, he's been decent.
Yeah. What's recent history looking like for Mr. Preece? That's Cole Custer. Oof. Cookout. That's Darlington. He had a 12th place finish at Darlington. Bass Pro Shops night race is at Richmond, 17th, but that's a mile track. Coke Zero Sugar, that's Daytona. Yeah, nothing. He's got nothing. Not playing him. Moving on. It's GPP to fade. All right, Harvick, 10-9. This guy dominates Texas. He's got 2 wins in the last 6 races, the most laps led than anyone at Texas. There's a reason he's priced up here. It's because he has a great opportunity to finish inside the top 5. That's if he himself doesn't get wrecked by Chase Elliott.
Yeah, he's the Cascarella of this. If you want to play him in GPP and play that for the place differential, fine, it might work out for you. I'm just not sold. The stats you're looking at, he was a completely different driver last year. They figured out the whole COVID non-practice thing faster than everybody else did. They lost their competitive advantage this year. Everybody caught up to them.
Yep.
He struggled to make the playoffs. He struggled to stay in the playoffs. He's no longer in the playoffs. I don't know if he's even going to retire after this year or not. I haven't heard any talk of that. You would assume if he was going to retire that like he tried to like just Jimmy Johnson, even though Jimmy Johnson had an unfortunate doing during COVID. I think, he's been a driver that has enough of a fan following that you'd kind of want to have like a going away tour kind of. So maybe, next year he'll announce that it's his last year or whatever. But again, Stewart-Haas Racing, it looks like they're looking towards next year for the cars. I don't really see them investing too much to try to get him a win in those last 4 races. So I'm not interested. GPP, maybe I'll play him in one line just in case, but I don't foresee a great day.
Yeah. Kevin Harvick finished 15th in the spring race earlier this year, a race that Kyle Larson won. Surprise, surprise. Blaney was in that top 5. I know we haven't really talked on this, so I'm just going to rattle it off. Bowman was in the top 6. Byron was 7th. Almirola was 8th. Wink, wink. Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, McDowell was 12th. I think that's notable. Cole Custer 14th. I'm not sure how that happened. Tyler Reddick 16th. Ryan Newman 20th. You know what this was? This was the All-Star race. Okay. That changes everything. Don't listen to anything that
I forgot that Cole Custer actually made it into the All-Star race.
Yeah, that still doesn't make sense. But yeah, we didn't talk on it. Oh, you know what? And that was there was 2 races. Almirola won one of them. What are we doing?
Well, he won the get into the race. Can you really count that?
There was 2 stage winners, and then Almirola won the first race to get into the actual one that Kyle Larson dominated.
But that was basically an Xfinity race.
Well, did they have the same package? Things to look up after the show. Anyway,
not playing Eric Almirola. I don't care. You can quote stats all night long.
I'm slowly talking myself into it. All right. I'm in on Harvick for GVPs. Like you said, the Kaz Grala of the Cup race. Kaz Grala play in the Cup race. Next up, we have Ross Chastain at 8,900. I think that price tag's pretty erroneous. To play someone just based on 5 to 10 finishing potential. Is Ross Chastain in a top 10?
I'm gonna think he's top 15.
Then I'm not really seeing the point in playing him at 8,900. Doesn't have good track history. What do we know about him on the ovals?
He's good here. 20. So 28, that give you about 40 DK points. I'll take that at 8,900.
His track history is not in the 42. If we want to look at the 42 car for track history, Kyle Larson. Oh man, he does not have good history here at Texas in the 42. I assume that top 5 was with Hendrick. Yeah, I don't know. I'm out. 8,900. No thanks. I'd rather play some of the guys like William Byron, like you had talked me into, and maybe even Bowman, Kurt Busch, or just people I want to play that I think have higher upside than Ross Chastain.
Okay. I think he's cash viable. I'm not saying he's a priority by any means, but I like him in cash.
I don't have a feel for it. Next up, we have Chase Briscoe, 7,900, another price tag I don't agree with.
Yeah, this I agree with you on. Briscoe's been horrible on just straight up 1.5 oval tracks. I just really, again, another Stewart-Haas car that's not invested in this year. So price tag's way too high. Starting position's okay. I wish he was a little bit further on down, but not interested at all.
Yeah, next up we have Ricky Stenhouse Jr. This is the main talking
In
point.
fact, I would play Eric Almirola over Chase Briscoe.
Yeah, I agree. After everything I've seen so far in my research, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 7,200. This could be your guy tomorrow. Talk to me.
Yeah, I think he definitely has the upside. He's been good at this track, good at this package. I think he's going to be very highly owned with the amount of place differential that he offers. Definitely probably a top 15 car, probably about 40 DK points here at 7,200. It's what we're looking for.
He's won on big ovals like Talladega. Obviously, that's plate racing, but I could understand the love for Stenhouse. Man, where did I keep losing my spot here?
But he's the guy that I said would be number one among the 7K guys, because I would put him first, and Dillon, and then if Reddick, DiBenedetto was so close.
I will admit, in my favorite build, I have both Stenhouse and Austin Dillon. I couldn't avoid it. It just happens with the way that construction is. You just kind of land on two guys in the 7K range, or you drop down and put all your chips into a Suarez. But Suarez and Stenhouse are kind of the same driver in this race, and one of them starting 27th, the other one starting 19th. You have a much more upside starting 27th. So I agree that Stenhouse is probably the more smart play at 7,200. Fair?
Yes.
All right, so I'm not smart, and I'm just going to do the opposite. Next up, we have Anthony Alfredo, 5,600. This guy's been on a roll, kind of. Any thoughts? I mean, he had a good finish at Talladega. I believe he did well at the Roval. That would be considered on a roll for him. Oh, he didn't finish those races well. Well, every time I saw him, he was running well. Every time I saw Anthony Alfredo, he was running well. Did he wreck late at that Talladega race? Because he was inside the top 10 for quite some time.
Smashed into something, I remember.
All right, yeah. So I'm not crazy though. He was running inside the top 15. I'm like, shit.
Everybody was running in the top 15. It's Talladega.
That's true.
One line goes up in their head, and then the next line goes up.
I just remember. I don't know. I always just remember thinking to myself, shit, he's going to be in the optimal lineup. I don't have any of them.
Talladega's like the bingo balls. They're all like, spiraling around the thing, and then eventually one shoots out.
And then I saw him after stage 2 in the Roval race. He was, but I think that had a lot to do with pitch strategy, and it kind of looked like it evened itself out. He finished.
So you're saying he's the Ryan Sieg of NASCAR?
He's trying to do something because he sucks. So I'm not playing him.
But he was really good in Xfinity last year, and he's one that came up way too fast. And we were talking about this in Xfinity. He throw him back down, and brings somebody up, and let him go down to trucks or to cars, and put him in the 90. Yeah, put him in the 98.
Yeah, I was gonna say put Gregson in this 38 car. I'd rather see someone aggressive like Gregson or Josh Berry or someone like that in this 38. That's not just gonna plot around in the back. John Hunter Nemechek drove in this 38 car, way better than Anthony Alfredo. I'd rather see someone that has that kind of aggressive mindset in this car.
Here, switch him and Riley Herbst.
Hey, there you go. I think that's kind of a lateral move, but I'd rather see, I don't know. Bring back Elliott Sadler.
Only if we can put the M&M car back on it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right. Next up, we have probably my favorite punt play of the day. That is Corey LaJoie at 5,700. Yeah. I'm going to be a truther tomorrow. Give me Corey LaJoie.
I can't argue with it. Like he's probably
sell you anymore on it either.
He's probably the best, cheapest play, other than, like I said, Timmy Hill, because he can lose you nothing. I I only see Ryan Newman maybe possibly getting ahead of him,
I was gonna say that
and
was my argument.
he should also be able to get ahead of at least Corey LaJoy and like the other, and like probably Daniel Suarez and Eric Almirola. And who else did you like up here?
I was gonna say he could probably pass drivers like Priest, Alfredo, and then the random 2 or 3 guys that spin out and crash or fall into some issues. So he's probably looking at a finish of 24th to 25th. I don't mind that at 5,700. I think that 20 to 25 points could be enough if you nail it at the top to win a GPP or just cash and cash games. So I'm taking the risk with Corey LaJoy. Who knows? Maybe there's a big one that you avoid, and you have someone like LaJoy who's not a part of anything in the back, escapes all of it. So I'm gonna take my chances with him. I assume you're out, or are you gonna be in the slightest?
Um, I'll see what my builds are. I think definitely if I needed somebody that low, he or Hill would be the one that I'd go to. I think I would trust LaJoy more.
There you go. Quinn Huff.
Is there a bet on like DK Sportsbook that this guy is going to end up with negative DK points tomorrow? Because I would hammer that one.
I'm gonna check it out. Driver props. We have some head-to-heads. Nothing with him. Race props. Odd or even car number winner.
Bet?
Stage props. No, we have no fun props. Maybe on Prize Picks you could try and check it out, but no. Enough fade.
He's gonna fish 39th.
100% correct. Next up we have Ryan Newman, 7K.
I really like him.
Is this dude retiring or what?
I haven't heard anything official. And again, like Harvick, you would think if he was that they would put something out there just to kind of say it, just so like he could be like honored, because he's been a really good driver and like a really good ambassador for the sport. So
yeah.
I think
Go ahead.
he's been good here. He's been good in this package, and you have some fluff in front of him. Like I think he could get like 5 points or place differential or so. He could get up into the top 25. So I really like him. I think it's going to be Larson, Stenhouse, and Newman first guys in my lineup, and then I'll figure out the rest. Probably Austin Dillon, and then what other 27K guys I end up on.
Newman actually has really good track history here. In 6 races, he has 5 top 20s with an average finishes. Well, in the last 6 races, but he does have 60 races here. 5 top 20s in 6 races with an average finish of 17th. Any insight onto the package? How he does well in this package?
Oh, he's good in this package.
Yeah. All right. So there we go. I think Newman could be a better play than Stenhouse, starting 31st, but it's certainly not something I'm going to bet on. It's just I don't like Newman, and he never works out for me. Next up, we have Justin Haley and Timmy Hill. Those are the only 2 guys I'm going to mention. Everybody else is a fade.
Yeah, Haley's way too expensive though. Like
agreed.
$200 more, you get a much better driver in Newman in almost the same situation.
Yep. No one Haley, and Timmy Hill maybe for S's and G's.
Yes.
Yep. All right. Well, that'll probably wrap things up for the driver by driver breakdown. Mega, great job as always. Thank you for putting up with my shit and listening to me babble about how I'm going to play Suarez over Bubba and all the things that I shouldn't be doing. I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Hopefully it pans out. But yeah, guys, listen to Mega on this one. Thank you for listening in. Like, comment below with any questions that you may have. I'm hoping that you do so. And thank you. You can follow me on Twitter at TKNation47. That is Mega Rule 31. Mega, enjoy your race tomorrow. I'm going to the Browns game. Go Brownies. Good luck to you, and good luck on football.
Okay. Thanks, guys.